Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. Last Monday, I did not put up a video, and it was the first time in 2 years that I did not have a video on a Monday. It felt really weird, but with Christmas and what have you, I knew you guys would understand. This video is going to air January the 3rd. So, like I said, Happy New Year, everyone. And this video is just showing you a little bit of one project I'm going to be doing this year. This project was inspired by Roxy Creations. That's her YouTube channel. And her sister, Roxy Creations by Sarah. Rachel lives in Italy, originally from Australia. Her sister still lives in Australia. And I never ever miss Rachel's videos. She does junk journaling, slow stitching, mixed media, and I just love watching her. So anyway, Rachel had done the 52 tag challenge that Ann Brooke did last year. I did it also. It was a fantastic project. But this year, Rachel decided to do something different. And I'm so glad she did, because I love that it's going to be a journal of stitchery. Now, I'm going to link both Rachel's and Sarah's videos down in the description box, because I'm not going to show you any of the stitching I did because they do it beautifully. Rachel is a left-handed stitcher. She shows you the stitches using the left hand. Sarah is a right-handed stitcher, which is what I am, and she shows you that. So for this introductory of the journal, I wasn't going to do any stitching. But what it's going to be is a journal of stitches, and they will go into a book. Now, this is the book that I've decided to use. I've torn it out. I've reinforced the spine. I'm not real sure the age of the book, although it does look quite old. But I may keep this picture of this woman. I may not. I will cover that. I will do something here. But again, it's at the end of the 6 months that Rachel and Sarah are going to show us how to put our journal together. But just to show you, this is my book, and so I cut out my pages to fit in here. And I may have to trim them down just a little bit off the top, but that's where I'm starting from. This is my title page, and I've started here with couching, the year 2022. And up here in this little corner here, I'm going to bring it up to you. This I stitched, and it is supposed to represent a pin cushion. And this is my pin cushion that I've had for many, many, many years. And you can see it's got little yellow tips on some of them. Some of them are blue and some of them are green. But I did decide to use all yellow, and so I used little yellow beads to stitch here. The pins are with a silver metallic, and then I did DMC 5-weight perlé cotton for the pin cushion itself. Over here is spool of thread. I did satin stitch here, and I just added a small little embroidery needle there. And then down here in this corner is a button that I bought at yarn store in Tempe, Arizona. And I love that little button that says handmade with love. And then here, this is supposed to be a thimble. It almost looks like a spaceship. But I'm going to lay this down for a minute to show you the thimble that I tried to replicate. And I might cry with this. This is a thimble that my mother gave me a long time ago. I think she found it in an antique store, but you can see it's got mother of pearl in here. It is bent up here, and I believe that's how it came. But this is one of the treasures that I have from my mother. So, Giselle, my daughter, please don't just toss this. This was from your grandmother. And so, it doesn't look exactly like it, but I know that's what it represents. Then you know that my name is Juanette, and so I couched this with all different colors of variegated DMC. I used 4 strands for the letters and then 2 strands to couch it. I'm going to again pull it up close, and hopefully it will focus so you guys can see the couching. That is really, really easy for lettering. And all I did was on my computer, I did my name. I'm going to just show you real quick so you can know how to do it. I just on my computer did this, and then I laid this underneath the fabric and then traced over it with one of these fantastic pens. I got them off of Amazon. Friction Clicker. They're erasable pens, so all you have to do is iron over the ink once you're done stitching, and the ink totally disappears. Then around here I did, what's that stitch called? Is that a fly stitch? Yeah, I just did a fly stitch. This is from a Stampin' Up stamp, and it is no longer available, unfortunately. Let me find it. Yeah, it's right here. So what I did, sorry for the glare, what I did is I just took this stamp, it's a rubber stamp, and I stamped it on the bottom here, no, I didn't trace it. I stamped it with a green colored ink, and then I just did the stitching over it. And again, it is just some split stitches here, a few chain stitches with other stitches in between. So that is my cover page. Now, it is a sampler to start out with. So Rachel and Sarah gave us directions on how to do all these stitches. So what is so nice about this project, it is for beginners, intermediate, and expert sewers. You can do whatever you want, but they went through each one of these stitches and how to do it. So my first stitch is a running stitch, and it just runs along. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, okay. So that is the first stitch, a running stitch. Then I have a whipped running stitch, which is the same as a running stitch, but then you whip the threads in between there. Then there is a back stitch, and then a stem stitch, then a split stitch. This is the split stitch where you bring your needle up through the previous thread and split it and then go back down. Like I said, Rachel and Sarah show you exactly how to do this. Then the next one was a cross stitch. Some I did crosses, some I did plus signs, different colors. The next is a seed stitch, very, very tiny little stitches here. Then there are French knots and colonial knots. Now, I can't tell a lot between the two, but they are different when you stitch them. Sometimes I did a lot of wraps, and sometimes I only did a couple of wraps. Then the next is a pistol stitch here, and then just because I had a little bit of extra room down here, I just did another whipped running stitch. So that is my first page of my sampler. Then the second page, I decided to run this way. Now it will still be in the book this way, but I wanted it to look a little bit different. So the first stitch up here is called a chain stitch. Now, I had never done this stitch before, so some of these, like French knots, I've done a lot before, bullion knots, running stitch, but some I hadn't, so it's really fun to learn new stitches. So that's a chain stitch. Then this is a lazy daisy stitch, and you can turn it into flowers, or here, these are like representing little leaves over here. The next stitch is a satin stitch. Now, I first did these here, and they're supposed to be ovals, but they are a little wonky. And so what I learned, and again, this is what is so nice about practicing, is then I learned that if I did my satin stitch and then did another stitch on the outside, it looked more even. So if I ran a stitch around each one of these, it would look better. And I still may do that. However, if I leave it like this, I will remember that I didn't do them so well at the beginning. So that's the satin stitch. Another stitch that I had never done before was the herringbone stitch. And here I did it a little bit closer together, further apart here, and then closer together here. Again, a really nice, easy stitch. This is a fly stitch. This one and this one are both fly stitches. This is a continuous one, and this is detached one. This I used wool thread. I think this is a wool thread, DMCs in some of these. I just used all kinds of different threads. It's really fun. Okay, these are bullion knots, and there's some that are straight kind of lines where they're flat, then some I did curvy. If you do more wraps, they're going to give you a curve. Then over here, I did a little rose, a bullion knot rose with just some little leaves here. I did a couple of colonial knots in there, and again, some more of the bullion knots in there. The next stitch is called couching, and that's where you take something and you stitch over it just to keep it attached to the front of your fabric. And this fiber here, I'm going to show you them. Again, I bought them at a Tempe yarn store. Let me see here what it's called. It is called the Tempe Yarn and Fiber Store. It is on University Drive in Tempe, Arizona. They do not sell anything online, unfortunately. Thank goodness it's only like 20 minutes for me to go there, so I went into the store. But look at this fun stuff that I got there. Now, this is more than I will ever use. So if you leave a comment and you would like a little bit of this stuff, just drop me a note in the comment section and let me know your address, and I will send you some of this stuff, because again, this is just more than I will ever use. And I could put some of this in a little envelope for you and then share it with you. So just let me know. So that's what I did with that couching. And then some of this is couched with like a metallic thread here. Then this is just a silk thread here. Some of them I did crosses. Some I did just a running stitch over it. A couple of bullion knots there over it. And then the next stitch is called a blanket stitch. And this thread is from Steph Francis, which is in the UK. I have an order coming from them, and because of the shipping problems, it is stuck somewhere, but they have shipped it, so it'll get to me eventually. But I love their hand-dyed threads. Then the next stitch was weaving, and here, I'm going to bring this up close. I wove this with wool. Just try to keep it real still for a minute. And it's variegated browns and greens. And then these two are again woven, but I did them in circles. I might put a little bead there or a French knot just to put something there. I might even put a couple of leaves off to it, but those are woven. Then this again was something that I had never done before. This is called turkey work. And so this one I did in a straight line, and this one I did like in a circular, in a ball. And so it looks like pom-poms, so that was fun. Now I'm going to also show you a couple of things that are my favorite things to use when I'm sewing. This stuff is a temporary adhesive spray, and what I'm going to do is back out here. I bought this at Joann's here in the United States, and this stuff is neat for when you want to print on fabric from your computer. So these are all the stitches. I will cut these out and I will put them on top of my sampler, designating which stitch I have there. And so what you do is you spray the adhesive on a thin piece of copy paper. Then you let it dry for like 30 seconds. Then you lay your fabric over the top of that paper, and then you put your computer or your printer on, like if it was a thick paper, and you run it through your computer. I've shown you this before, and now I've got all this beautiful fabric with what stitch I have in my sampler. The other thing that I can't do without when I'm doing bullion knots are these little things. I've got a couple of things that I use for pulling thread through when it's tough. One is one of these little things. I think I have a couple in a couple of different colors. However, these are really nice. They come in a small and a medium. This one fits on my index finger here. And then this one fits on my thumb, and you just pull them. And when you're pulling something through thick fabric, they just give you a good grip. So I like these. Now they come in 2 to a pack, or 2 pairs of a pack, and I ripped one of them, so I may have to get another set just to have on hand, but I love those. The other thing is I've got lots of needle threaders, and oh, this is my favorite one. Here's one I have. I think I bought this at Walmart, and it is nice because it's got a little light on it, but it bends, okay? And so I still use it sometimes. Then the other one that I have is this brand, and again, the tips, well, that one broke off, so that's, you know, they break. This one is still okay, so that's why I have it still in my sewing drawer. But this is really nice because it's easy to use and threads your needles very easily. So that's my favorite threader. I've got this one too, which I think was difficult to use. I tried to work it, but I couldn't get it to work very good. Maybe it's me. My favorite pair of embroidery scissors are these. I'm going to pull them up close. Hopefully it won't be too blurry. They are called Premania. Premana. And here it says Premax. They're made in Italy. The thing that I like the best about them is they're curved here ever so slightly. So if you're cutting thread, you can get really close to that thread, and I needed that when I was couching. So these are fantastic scissors. The other thing I use, and I have a couple of pairs of these. This was my original pair, and they're good. They magnify. They slip on your head. But the other night I was watching TV with my son, and my living room isn't very dark, or isn't very light. So I was having trouble seeing, so I ordered these off of Amazon, and I like them. I really do. So it has a light. Isn't that fun? And there's a charger that comes with it. There is a bunch of different strengths of the magnifying glass. And the other really neat thing about it, now you guys know that I travel back and forth from California to Arizona for work, but it has a case. So I'll be able to slip these in this case. Where'd my things go here? Yeah, I'll be able to slip this in here, close it up, and then I won't scratch the lenses. So they are called Vision Aid, and again, I ordered them from Amazon. I think they were about $30, so love those. What else can I show you guys? Oh, for making the thimble and the threads, what I did again is just go online and pull off some images from the computer and laid my fabric over the top, traced it, and I used that one. Sure doesn't look like it. Looks like a spaceship, but oh well. And then the little pin cushion here. So that's what I use for that. Let's see, is there anything else I need to show you guys? I think that's it. So again, thank you for joining me. And Oh, I do so hope some of you join in on this challenge. I have asked both of my sisters, Sherry and Carrie, to do this. Well, we'll see if they do it, but I would like for them to join in. And there's something else I forgot to do. I forgot to thank some people for their lovely comments. Oh my gosh, I'm bad. But anyway, Casey, thank you. Beverly, oh my gosh, like I say, every time you never miss commenting on my video, and I appreciate it. Beverly lives in Tennessee, thank you. Maggie, love you, Maggie. Beth K, my sister Sherry, you usually comment also. And on one of my older videos on organizing my stamps using Evernote, Allie B commented on that video. So she recently watched that video. So I appreciate you kind of going back and watching other videos. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me, you guys. I will see you again on January the 10th for another video. I'll probably go back to doing some kind of a journal. But anyway, hope your new year is off to a great start. I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you. And I will talk to you later. Bye.